Hello and welcome to today's episode. So, if you're a parent trying to juggle the demands of work and family life, then today's conversation is for you. I'm so excited to welcome today's guest, Dr. Rosina McAlpine. Dr. Rosina is an internationally recognised expert in workplace and family wellbeing. She's a researcher, speaker, and founder of Win Win Parenting. So, for more than a decade, she's helped workplaces, leaders, and families better understand the challenges facing working parents and finding practical solutions that support both the families and the organisation. So, today's conversation will resonate with so many parents who are constantly juggling work, family responsibilities, WhatsApp groups, sporting events, and then trying to find any time for themselves, which is typically doesn't happen. And we usually put ourselves at the bottom of that ladder. So today's modern parenting can feel absolutely relentless with work demands, school commitments, and that mental load leaving many parents just feeling overwhelmed and exhausted. So her work has been featured internationally across television, radio, print media, and including the New York Post, the Today Show, and ABC Radio. But what I love most about Dr. Rosina's work is how it connects our work lives and family lives. So in this episode, we explore working parent burnt out, the impact of stress across home and work, the practical ways employers, leaders, and parents can create more balance and reduce the overwhelm and be more connected to their family and do their jobs the way that they feel like they need to do their jobs. So whether you're working outside the home, running a business, or managing your family, I think you'll take a lot from this conversation. So I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did and Dr. Rosina did. Leave your comments, let me know all about it. We'll speak to you next week. Bye. Good morning, Dr. Rosina, and welcome to the podcast today.
Hello, hello. It's lovely to be here.
We're having a little chit chat before we get. It's so funny, right? It's like one of the movies. Take one, take two. I would love for you to start to get to know you a little bit more and introduce yourself and tell everyone a little bit about what you're doing and all the work that you're doing in the world and your purpose and passion in life around this, is like I always like to say. And if you could share a little bit about that, that'd be amazing.
So for me, my biggest mission and vision at the moment is to support all the busy, hardworking, amazing parents out there who are struggling to manage all of the demands, work, family, and feel like, their employer just doesn't get it. They don't
It hasn't
support.
changed, has it really? The world's changed. The world has changed drastically, and there's so much pressure on everyone, but it's sounding like the workplaces aren't really adjusting.
No, and it feels like, as a working parent, you're worried about if I say anything, it's gonna hurt my ability to grow in the
Mm,
firm, to be employed. I'm gonna look like I can't handle it all. But really at the end of the day, and I'll talk about stats later when you're,
mm,
ready to do that. At the
mm,
end of the day, we've got a system that just doesn't work. And so
mm.
it's a systems issue, not an individual issue. So if you're feeling tired and burnt out, let's take that responsibility away from you and say, no,
Yeah.
no, no, it's workplace issues, it's structural issues in society that's
Yeah.
actually the issues here.
Oh, totally. And it feels working with so many families on so many different levels, from babies up to 10-year-old kids and parenting, I'm seeing it so drastically change. And I say this I offer a 15-minute call for families just to introduce myself to them and what I can do. But what I always say to them is like, I'm a mum of three and they're 21, 18 and 15. And, the pressures now are tenfold on not living expenses, the stress of the world. We still have to, parenting's not changed, kids have not changed, but the life world has, and trying to keep up with it all is yeah, no one's sleeping, everyone's tired, and everyone's trying to do their right job, and it's just not working, is it?
That's so true. And I think you make some really good points. And one that I'd like to hone in on is this whole idea that as a parent, you've got to kind of grow and change with the times.
Mm.
And when I was growing up, there was no tech. The
No.
bullying was very different to what
Oh,
it
yeah.
is today.
Totally. Anxiety was low because we just
Mental health
played and,
issues,
yeah,
yes,
did
that's what I was going
sports
to talk
and yeah.
about. It's just a different world, and yet, working parents are expected to understand all the new games,
Oh,
all of the food that's available now.
mhm.
Like, in my day, if you got a little boiled lolly, it was like, "Woohoo,"
I know.
like,
I know.
now
Fish
I
and
am
chips
showing
once a
my
week.
age.
Yeah.
Now, you look at the shelves and there's more artificial colors, flavors, and
Yeah.
things than we ever had. So
Totally.
I think we have to accept that this whole concept that there is not a job in the world, not a single job in the world that doesn't require education, training, and ongoing improvement. Yet
Totally.
we're like, here's your baby. See you
I
later.
know.
Figure it out. It'll be okay. And please work and,
Full time.
and, deal with all of the financial
Yeah.
challenges and your own. Like we know that there's a growing number of mental health challenges individually as well,
Yeah.
and that social media, gaming has had a negative impact on adults as much as
Mhm.
it has on our children. So I
Yeah.
think what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of complexities to navigate.
Yes. Again, we could talk about this forever. And
Mm.
what you do and what we're going to talk into obviously is, families, parenting and in the workplace and how, like you said, it's not we sort of parents blame themselves and don't want to speak up. They don't want to lose their job and they just keep on going. But I think the more that we get to know you is that you're really advocating for the parents out there or trying to get out there of like, you know what, it's not about how busy you are and you're not doing your job properly. It's about the organizations and the structure.
Absolutely, and that's what we've been doing now for the last 10 years.
10
And
years.
yeah, this is like,
Wow.
well, maybe a little even longer.
Oh, really?
Maybe 11 years, yeah, this
Yeah.
year.
Well, take us back to that 10, 11 year, like, so your background, where it sort of, the light bulb sort of went, this is where I really like to focus my attention. And yeah, I'd love to hear a bit about that.
So, obviously, I myself became a working parent, and that was
Mhm.
about 19 years ago now.
Yeah.
And I just myself went from competent, capable professional associate professor at the University of Sydney to incompetent,
That's a bit harsh, but
not
totally.
capable. No,
Yeah.
really, I'm not
I,
joking. I really am. I mean,
no,
I
I
was
totally get it.
managing, yeah, I was managing thousands of students and teams of, tutors, and I was
Yeah.
winning awards and writing papers.
Yeah.
I was like, I had this, like my career was really at its peak. And then I
Totally.
came home with a tiny baby and I could not get myself or my baby or my house in any kind of order. It took a
You
long
know you're
time.
not alone. You've heard the word matrescence we talk about a lot, but it is absolutely. I find the women I work with that are, again, all women are amazing, all mothers are amazing, but the women like yourself who are highly, driven, educated, got to those levels, sometimes find becoming a parent even harder because you had everything organized, you're very independent and a brilliant woman, like not comparing to other people, but often I find when I work with highly professional women like that, they find it a little bit a bigger adjustment.
I did, and you
Mm.
know what I realized was it didn't take long, but about 3 months in, I went,
Yeah.
"Oh my goodness, it took me my whole life to get to where I was at
Yes.
uni, and I'm not giving myself a week or 2 or a
So
month
well.
or a year to get to where I need to be now." And that's where I really dove in and I went, "Hang on a sec, I might not know what I'm doing, but I'm a researcher, I'm an academic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody's gonna know." And so
Yeah.
I started to look at all the research, and there was so much great information from psychology, child development, and I
Yeah.
was seeing that I wasn't the only parent on the
Oh no.
planet that was not coping or was not doing the best job that they felt like they could do a better job, right?
Yeah.
So I ended up writing a book, believe it or not,
Oh, what's the book called?
while I was on
Oh, I
parental
do
leave.
believe it. You couldn't I definitely would believe it. What was the book about and what was it called?
So it was called Inspired Children: How the Leading Minds Raise Their Kids.
Oh, how
Oh, it
interesting.
was so interesting. So I went and found psychologists and parenting experts and neuroscientists and everyone of all the
Wow.
different areas.
Well, I
And
like
I
that.
would be interviewing them while I was on maternity leave. And I came out with this book and it just made me feel so much more confident. And so that's when I started advocating and saying, look, of course, we're not going to be confident. This whole concept that it'll come naturally, what a lot of nonsense that is.
Really.
Like, how nonsensical to say, "It's just gonna be natural. You're gonna know how your child's brain
No,
development, social development,
no.
emotional development is gonna be." So, I get the book together and then I go back to work and I'm, finding it really struggling, and I was doing a research area on managing work and family, gender equality.
Mhm.
It was so clear.
Right.
There was this humongous gap that
Mhm.
it was at the time, 15 years ago, 12 years ago, around there, that they started doing these wellbeing programs.
Right.
And these wellbeing programs had nothing to do with working parents. You
Yeah.
know, yes, go to the gym, have some yoga,
Yeah,
have a
totally. When's
break
that gonna
yeah, what? Like, what am I gonna do with the toddler that's, attached to my leg, or the
Yeah,
teenager who's slamming the car door? What am I gonna do about that?
totally.
So, that's when I had this whole concept of, "Hang on a sec, workplaces are taking parents out of the home and into the workplace," and of
Mm.
course, society is requiring that too
Yeah.
because,
Mhm.
you know, the now we have something like the Australian Bureau of Statistics, the latest ones, are about 73% of families have both parents working.
Oh, I would even thought it was higher, and you're the researcher, so, but it's
So,
I
it
that
is higher in
it's
one
high.
parent,
Yeah.
right? But when
Mm.
you've got just 2 parents, there's at least 73% where both are working, and
Yeah,
that's a lot.
it's
So,
high.
there's
Mm.
a very small proportion where, only one parent is not working and the other one is. Anyway, so I was looking at this and I thought, "Nobody's doing this." So that's when I just developed win-win parenting and went, "Hang on a sec. If we support working parents to be the best they can at home because we know that their stress, their challenges are gonna turn up in the workplace.
Totally.
We're gonna have a win-win, good for
Mm.
parents, good for
Yeah.
business." And that was when win-win was born,
Love
and
it.
that was, yeah, over a decade ago now, and we've been
Wow.
working with we work with all levels of government, we work with corporate, we work with not-for-profit organizations, small, medium, large. The ones who are really socially responsible, the ones who are saying, "Oh my goodness,
This
if
is
I don't
needed.
support the working parents, we're not gonna get the outcomes that we want."
It's amazing. So in regards to win-win then, your majority working with the organizations and the businesses, not always particularly the parents themselves, or is it both? So are you sort of, yeah, talking to the heads of these, yeah, businesses? Tell me about it. How
Oh,
do you support
real.
that? How do you support the parents out there around this, and what does it look like?
So, my thesis at the time was, if you take the parent out of the home, you need to give something back.
Yeah,
And so I talked to HR managers, diversity, workplace health and safety managers, and talked to them about, what are the programs that you've got in place that actually create family-friendly workplaces, that
yeah,
actually help your working parents be the best they can for themselves, for their families, and of course, that all translates to the
mm,
workplace.
yeah,
So we deliver, training to managers to
hmm,
make sure, number 1, that they actually understand the challenges. Now, many people come straight out of uni into
yeah, yeah.
HR, workplace health.
No children,
They've
no
got no
family.
children.
Mm,
Makes no sense to them whatsoever when they say, "Hey, we'll give you a gym membership," or whatever.
yeah.
They're like, "This is a good thing," but they don't understand all the barriers
Complexities. Oh my
to
gosh, yeah.
burnout.
Yeah.
So, number 1, training for the managers. But then all of our programs are directed towards, and we've just little by little by little, we've got over 40 programs now,
Okay.
because we just listen to working parents. We
Yeah.
listen when they say, "Look, my big challenges are with technology. My big challenges are with emotional regulation for the kids and for ourselves.
Yeah.
My big challenges are," recently there was a big change in the age that kids can access social media,
Yes.
from 13 to 16. Now that's a big problem for
Yeah.
parents.
Mhm.
You don't realize what a big problem. You got 2 or 3 kids that are going, "What? I can't
Yeah.
access social media anymore? How do we manage that? How do we navigate it so there's not the meltdown and the screaming and the,
I know.
circumventing?" So whenever we see, current challenges, increases in mental health challenges, we wanna address that. Bullying, we know bullying's
Yeah.
on the rise.
Yep.
So whenever we try and address all the really big challenges, but we also try and do the little challenges every
Yeah.
day, like,
The
how do you
everyday ones are grinding, like they're the ones that wear you down the most, I think, little bit all the time, like getting them to daycare and getting out the house on time for work and,
Correct,
mm,
correct. How do you get into a routine where from preschool right through to teen years and then into university and
yeah,
your, higher education and beyond? We used to say our programs were 18 months to 18 years, but we've had to do, like, adult children at home now, so we
yeah,
just say 18 plus years.
yeah, totally. Honestly, then where are they going? And it's like, I remember when they were smaller, I was like, they'll be out of home by 18, 19. No, they're not going anywhere. But now I'm like, you don't need to go anywhere. It's okay. Stay with mummy and daddy. It's okay.
Exactly. If we get to
Yeah,
stretch that out, that's very
yeah,
nice.
totally,
I
totally.
I hear you. So, yeah, so really it's listening to what are the challenges? How do we create situations at home where our kids feel like they're part of the family, they're learning life skills,
Yeah,
they're becoming part of the solution, not the problem, right?
yeah,
Uh, Being empowered. So the program is all about how do we support working parents to feel confident at home, have all the resources that they need because
yep.
they don't have time to do the research. And as
No.
today it's so problematic. If you type in,
Oh,
bullying or whatever, you are going to get a variety of answers. And then you'll be
100%.
you'll be like me, and which is why I did the book, was on the very first day that our son was born, the lactation consultant said one thing and the nurses said
I
something
know.
completely different. One was feed on demand and one was feed every 4 hours, and I was in a teary mess.
Yeah,
Like, what am I supposed to know now at this point in time
totally.
when you can't
And
tell?
exactly. And you think about for us and our kiddos being so much older, we had a book or or that would happen. One midwife will come in and we had that and it stressed us out. But we think about the poor parents out there that, oh my gosh, just are so losing their minds because everything contradicts itself.
It
It's
absolutely does, and then you don't even know what to trust, and
no,
that's why with the Win-Win program, we feel confident to say that it's the heart and science of parenting, and
yeah.
that's why we do have Dr. Rosina McAlpine who wrote the programs,
Which is you, by the way, which is you, Dr. Rosina McAlpine. Yes, thank you.
which
Doctor,
is
Doctor, Doctor.
me,
Yes.
because I didn't want it to be, someone's idea, and
Yeah,
that's why I looked
totally.
at the leading minds. Now, I'll give you just a really quick example of, what really piqued my interest. So here's one saying every 4 hours, and here's the other one going, "No, no, that's so old-fashioned, it's been
Yeah,
on demand today." So I went to the Journal of Lactation. Yes, it exists, right?
sure it does. It's like sleep. Sleep does. There's a lot of research done on humans over 50 years ago that people forget about, like the science-backed stuff. There's lots of research on
Exactly.
this stuff.
And get this, so they did studies on whether you fed on demand or whether you fed in a routine.
Mhm.
And they found that children who were fed on demand had an up to 5-point higher IQ than children. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the face you're pulling right now, which is
Wow.
was the same face I had, which was why, you know, I'm like, that's it. Everybody has to know this stuff. Why is it in academic journals? Why
Yeah.
is there anyone that knows this? But more importantly, I wanted to understand why. Now, this is the why. When a child is in fight or flight, they're not in growth and repair. When
No.
you're struggling and you want to eat, you're hungry, you're not going, oh, ceiling. Oh, look at my thumb. Like,
Yeah.
you're not doing any of that.
I'm
So
starving.
I'm starving, I'm in fight or flight.
Mm.
Now, a 4-hour routine might work for some kids and be perfect. So I'm not saying this or this. What
No,
I'm saying is that if we know that when a child is hungry and those needs are met, they're going to have a higher IQ because their neural pathways are going to be growing at a time when they're in
yeah,
growth and repair.
I'm not
That's
stressed.
information that I think is really important for parents to
I
have,
know.
you
But you know
know?
what? As you're talking, I love all the research stuff. I love it. So we talk about sleep support. So, I like them. I secure, nurturing, attached sleep specialist. I could use so many other words. We're responsive to all needs, right? But it's like anything. That's amazing information. But you might have a mother that's feeding on demand every 30 minutes.
And
And
it
so
can't
that
happen.
can't happen. So it's
Exactly.
like, it's the in between. It's like the sleep our babies biologically, if they haven't got tummy pains and they're thriving, they can all master this miracle of sleep through us nurturing, supporting. But you can't just write a book about that and go, do it this way. It doesn't work like
Correct.
that. This is the thing when you have highly intelligent, research backed information, people will look at that and then stick to it rather than sort of like then use the parental instinct, like it's just such a confusing world, isn't it? Like
Heart and science,
that's
my
right.
abilities,
100%.
and that's exactly what I say. I start every session, and so do our team of facilitators, with this: we're not here to give you advice.
No.
You
Support,
get
nurture.
what we're here to do is give you information, strategies, and ideas, and you are the expert in your family. You're going to know
Exactly
what
what I
you can
say.
do and put in
Totally.
place.
Yeah,
That to me is so important. So empower yourself. We know garbage in, garbage out.
I know.
Good information in, good information out, good
Totally.
decisions.
Yeah.
So the whole idea for me is the better we know, the better we do. And
Yes.
sure, we might not be able to be perfect. You might not be able to feed
Ah,
on demand the whole time. You've got to
yeah.
get up and go to work and whatever.
Totally.
But
Totally.
whenever you can,
Do
you're
your best.
doing it. And then
That's right.
then you're doing the best you can. And that's all
Totally.
we ever
That's
ask.
what I think a
Yeah.
lot of when I do my one-on-one in my families, a lot of the conversations like, you're doing amazing. Because they're thinking they're failing. As mothers, we always do that anyway, but now it's even worse. And I'm like, you're amazing. This is your child. Look at this, look at the positives. But also, we live in a world of instant gratification. So then people, like, for example, working with so many families, might go, here, this is what we've got to do. And if it's not started to do or work in a couple of days, they're like, am I doing it wrong? Is this happening? I'm like, just give it time. Constant. Don't keep don't change the things. Just get the information, the resources that is backed and you feel comfortable with, and just keep persevering. You're not going to get it. Work-life balance is very hard,
It really
isn't
is.
it?
It really isn't, but with the right tools and the right encouragement, and that's where
100%.
the coaches come in, and a lot of people will say, "I really love that your program is not prescriptive, it's
No.
informative and
Yeah, right.
educative," so
And they
that
make
we
it work.
can then go, "Oh, oh, oh," or, "I tried that and it didn't work, but what about that?" And, for example, we talk about sleep as well, and I know you're the expert, but one of the areas that I was very interested in was because as soon as Cameron came home, as we all know, I don't know why they say sleep like a baby. Like that was
No,
just
they
a
do
really
not.
cute statement, right? Sleep like
When,
what baby?
when
Which
I know, when
baby?
they're in your tummy still, maybe. Yeah, exactly. No, 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 no. That's not
No.
what happens.
So
Yeah.
so they were like there was this whole idea of controlled crying versus
Yeah.
nurturing to sleep. And so the two things that I had to listen to was, first of all, I started to look at the research on cortisol levels and all of that in,
Yep.
this whole concept of controlled crying. The
Yep.
second thing I looked at was how I felt. We
Yeah.
tried it for one night for
No, yeah.
about
5 minutes?
10 minutes, 5 minutes, 10
Totally.
minutes.
Goes
And I said
against your grain.
I just
Exactly.
said I just said to my husband, "I'm gonna vomit, and if I
Totally.
feel like I'm gonna vomit, this
No,
can't be good,
it's not.
so it's not
It's
gonna
not.
happen." But everyone kept telling me, "Oh, just oh, just."
No,
Anyway, so
no, no.
that's why I
Nervous system
say,
regulation. Exactly. Yeah.
and then I started to joke. I thought, "Wow, if they're so smart and can, put themselves to sleep when they don't even have, a brain to figure anything else
Yeah.
out, maybe we should have them playing the stock market
I
as
know.
well,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Because
Totally.
clearly they're very smart." So I started just making the jokes, but in all honesty, that's why I always say, yeah, read the science or whatever. Someone's gonna write something about something,
Yeah. Totally.
which there was all of this
Oh,
information at that time.
imagine now, 19 years later, what it's like now trying to say, I say to everyone once they find me, I am your sleep Google. It's just message me. If someone tells you something, message me, because that's what it's about, is like finding something
There's
that
your
works.
reliable
Yeah.
source.
Yeah. And also that you feel regulated. Like that's what I say to anyone. Anytime you're made to feel yucky, something you've watched, someone's told you, it's not aligned with you, don't do it. If it's of someone looking in front of you, just grin and thanks so much. But
Mm.
you are the parent. And we're not going to, the other big thing is surrendering to the fact of chaos, because everyone looks this like, you know what I mean? Like everyone's like, and I was like that. I was a stay-at-home mom and I was like, I'm going to feed them this way, whatever. And it ended up turning into a shit show as they got older, because you can't control it all. But the more educated we can be as parents about nervous system regulation, understanding the human bioscience of it, of what they
Correct.
can do, then that's research stuff, which is your forte, and then building on that. Like if you're such a beautiful person who's created this, then the people that are your team or whoever's in your community, I'm pretty sure will have to be the same mindset or the same sort of personality that you are to educate your parents. Or you wouldn't be having someone who's telling them they're doing something wrong in your team. Um, and that's what I say to everyone: find people that help you with this village that we don't have anymore.
Exactly, and that's part of that systems things what we were talking about. So when things were simpler and you had maybe an aunt, or uncle, a
Yeah.
parent, village. I
Lower.
went back to I went back to Serbia when our son was 18 months old and then again 6 years old. And because my family comes from a little village in Serbia, I'm not kidding you. I was, co-sleeping was just considered normal. That's what you do.
Totally.
You put your baby in the bed with you. And the grandmas and the aunties would be listening at the door. And as soon as the child went, there'd be
Yeah.
knock, knock, door open,
I
child
know.
gone. You rest. I'll see you later. And
I
I'm like,
know.
what the
Was
heck?
I'm
You
shifting to
rest
Serbia.
and I'll
I
see you
know.
later?
I
Like, what
know.
is this?
I know. But it doesn't happen anymore, does it? And it's got worse and worse and worse, and not for anyone's fault, but grandparents are working longer and everybody's working, you
Precisely,
know.
and the thing then was the village actually for that time that we were there, I'd have to go up and down the street to find him. He'd be
Oh,
somewhere, but he'd be
yeah.
with an aunt or with an uncle or with a
So
cousin or with
beautiful.
somewhere, and so we don't have that anymore.
We
We're
don't.
lucky if we talk to the neighbours on either side. We have someone who comes to visit every now and again, and so structurally, we've really got to say there's a lot on the shoulders of working
There
parents, and
is.
how can we make it a bit easier?
I love it. I love it. So we could talk all day, but I really want to fine tune. If a
Mm.
mother or a father is listening to this and feels like, my gosh, my business, who I work for I need to know more about this. Can you make it nice and clear how they can work with you? Do they go to their manager? What support do the parents get? Run through a little bit of, how people could work with you or the companies could work with you.
So the first thing is that we now have psychosocial safety laws, which I love, have
Which
come
is,
for
what's that?
effect. It's great, isn't it? So
What is it? Tell me. I
it's
don't know what it
the
is. Tell me.
yes, it's the responsibility of an organization and managers to ensure that the well-being of their employees so that they can be physically, emotionally, socially well to be able to perform their duties,
Great.
as well as they can in the workplace.
Yep.
Now, what that means is that they have to identify the risks. And so, just a simple thing like saying, I understand that you are trying to create psychosocial safety in our workplace, because that's the big words now. One of the things that many companies are not doing is looking at the specific risks for working parents. Now, working parents have the highest rates of burnout, highest rates of stress, highest rates of turnover. Now,
Mm,
companies, organizations don't like that. So, if you
no.
want to improve workplace productivity, mental health, just ask them, go to the
Okay.
winwinparenting.com,
Start
they've
from
got
there.
all the programs are there, and we offer free, like you do, 15-minute
Awesome.
conversation.
Yeah.
We offer loads of articles. We've got a free assessment that says, how ready are you to support the psychosocial
I
well-being of
love
your working parents?
it. Yeah,
So
that's
it's
so
a
great.
free tailored assessment. There's, 20 questions that they can go, we do this, we do this, we do this, we don't do this, and how can we work? So
Yep.
the whole idea is to feel really confident in saying the well-being of working parents is not an individual problem, it's a
Yeah.
systemic problem. And I would love to connect you with Win-Win Parenting,
All right.
Dr.
Here we go.
Rosina,
Go over
so
there.
that so
Love
that
it.
we can work together to support
Oh, fantastic.
working parents, because it really is, that's the win-win.
It
When
is.
working
Yeah.
parents are doing well, then the organization's doing well. But there's one more little piece that I want to add.
Mm.
10 years ago, I was too scared to say this. I could see it, but I couldn't voice
Right.
it.
What is it?
It was, like, I mean, it was big enough to say to organizations, it's your responsibility not to set meetings at 3 and 10,
Yeah.
9 o'clock in the
Totally.
morning and 3 o'clock in the afternoon so
Yeah.
people can do drop off and pick ups. It's
Yeah.
your responsibility to accept that parents are gonna wanna be at the presentation
Carnivals
and
and
at
yeah.
the right? So that was all good. But today we need to look bigger. We know that our kids are really not doing very well. We
Mm.
know that our society as a whole, we know that there's more anxiety, more depression. Our kids have got more ADD, ADHD, more neurodiversity. There's more
How much
bullying, there's more mental health issues. There's so much going on, right? So we don't have a well society. And where
no.
does that all stem? It all stems from the parents who are raising the next
It
generation.
does.
So let's go back to corporate social responsibility. Working parents are contributing to the economy. Yay. They're contributing to the future of humanity. When we support them, not only do we help workplaces with future employees that they're
Mm.
going to have, but we also help the economy now and in the
Yeah,
future, and we help society as a whole. If we've
absolutely.
got sick working parents, we've got sick kids. If we've got sick kids, we've got sick organizations and nothing's gonna work. So for me now, the big picture is let's really be responsible for in the world. Let's
Oh,
look
yeah.
after our working parents, look after the future generations, and we're
Yeah.
gonna have an awesome society and
I know.
economy.
Oh, and I love meeting people like yourself and getting to know you because, we're all we all find each other, I think, to be able to share these conversations, but obviously the passion that you have around it. But what I'm also seeing is, I don't know if you've heard of Dr. Shafali, but I was certified, I've trained with her. And so she is a psychologist and founded the conscious parenting sort of movement, being aware of ourselves. That's what it is. It's not permissive, gentle. It's like understanding, generational patterns. But what she talks about and what I'm really noticing is that us humans haven't changed, right? Being mothers, fathers, even same-sex relationships and children and whatever. Children haven't changed, meaning they need their parents. They don't care that we've got a career or need to earn money. They actually just want to have your basics of a parent being around and a parent and family growing that child up. And so what's happening is we're seeing, and we have to live in this society that we live in. We don't, especially the Western world. The parents are doing the best they can. The kids just want their parents, and then it's just that ongoing cycle. So if, like we're saying, if the workplace is a bit more conducive to being able to go to sports events, school drop off, pick up, that's just huge. Like that's life changing for the future for our kids. And it starts in all these different places for sure.
And absolutely, and what if the organization as the ones that we work with do, give you we have, like, ongoing programs. We don't go, a one-off isn't gonna help you. The
Oh,
kids,
no.
like, you do your one-off program and the kids don't run away after that,
Exactly.
right? So we
No,
do
it's
ongoing
forever.
programs.
Parenting's forever.
Exactly, exactly. So we do one program a month where you can ask questions and
I
answers and
love
you
it.
can learn one topic, right?
Yeah.
So from that point of view, what happens is the working parents start saying, wow, you get that I've got problems. And that's one of the biggest problems. When you don't feel like your manager understands you, you are in a big, very stressful
Oh, yeah.
situation. You don't feel confident to talk about things. You have to hide things. And that's when you will say, I've got a doctor's appointment instead of going to get a
Oh,
certificate for my child, right?
totally.
To see my child's
Totally.
certificate. So if we want open, honest conversations and we know the basic kind of, let's say, framework is life is always gonna tip you off balance. That's
Mm,
just gonna happen because
yeah.
from day to day, a sock's gonna be missing or
Oh,
someone's gonna get sick, right?
totally.
What we know from the research is that if life tips you off and you've got the resources to ride it, if you've got the knowledge, understanding to ride it, you ride through it.
Life changing. Life changing.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that's what organizations need to do. We now know the risks. We know the challenges working parents are suffering.
Oh,
They don't have the time to go and research who's good, who's not, what
no.
program, what resources. So provide it, provide flexible work,
Amazing.
provide
Resources, education,
managers
all. Yes.
managers who actually understand and go, "Yes, no worries. Take an early mark, go pick up the kid, do this, and then you can
Amazing.
do it later or whenever, we can
Yeah.
talk about this." And then, of course, we're gonna have much better outcomes at work and at home.
100%. And the thing is, typically, working parents are the ones that work the hardest. they're not being lazy, like, and just needing some time off work and, the workplace to be adjustable. It's like they're the hardest working because they want to get it done in a certain amount of time. They want to be there as a parent. They want to cook dinner. And yeah, so it
It's
sounds
true,
like
and
you're
there's
doing
actually
amazing.
research that shows that. There's
Yeah.
actually research and data, recent data that says, a lot of employers assume that working parents aren't, really hungry for promotion and to have a career, but that's actually not true at all. They are as dedicated as wanting
Wow.
to achieve as anybody else is, and as you said, because they have to juggle so many things,
Yep.
they're
They're
usually
good at it.
masters at that as well. So
They truly are.
definitely we should not be making those
No,
assumptions.
no.
There is
Oh,
a gender issue though that we haven't talked about.
we haven't, and it's a tricky one to touch on, isn't it? Because it's another probably whole podcast. Um, but this is my podcast, so I can say it. I can broach it, and this is by no, not minimalizing anybody's role. Like I said, same sex, dads, mums, whatever. But typically, in the world that we live in, the mothers are still doing the mothering. They're the ones that are doing the maternal stuff. We go to sleep, we go to bed and can't sleep because we're worried. Our beautiful hunter-gatherer husbands hop into bed an hour later and go to sleep in 10 seconds. So we're just talking about biology here as well. So the load of the mothers, typically, I'm not saying 100%, is still a lot more, I find, with the working mothers, because we just do it to ourselves. So that's a bit of a, I'm not saying martyr, but we do. And so then it's like a gender thing that I sort of talk about a little bit too. I don't know if that's what you were going to talk about, but
It's close. It is close to what I was going to talk about. So I like to start with the data because then we don't have any.
yes, any grey. But I brought it up so everyone can tell me off. It's okay. But
No, no,
you've
no,
got you've got the research.
I do. So the Australian Bureau of Statistics in 2021 just asked how many hours do men and women, because that's how it's actually, and I understand that, that's controversial in and of
Yeah,
itself, but I'm just reporting what
that's
the
right. Right, that's, I
statistics
don't want
are.
to, yeah, we're not generalizing. We're just
No,
talking
I'm
about
just
that.
saying that the data, there were men and there were women in this study
Yep.
in 2021. It was the census actually.
Mm-hmm.
And on average, men were doing half, or women were doing twice as much unpaid domestic work. So, right?
Yes.
So that's not anything controversial in the
No.
sense of, I'm not saying anything other than just go to the ABS and
Yeah.
have a
Go
look
look at the
at,
stat. Yes.
go get that stat. So there are many reasons, and that's when it gets a little more tricky.
Yep.
There are many reasons why that is. I worked with Professor Charles Arini many years ago at Sydney Uni, and he wrote a book called The Other Glass Ceiling: Fathers Stepping Up and Mothers Letting Go. And
Oh,
there's
yeah.
truth in both of that.
Interesting.
So it's a really lovely book. And what he says is that women can be gatekeepers and therefore not let dads step
Yeah.
up, but there's
Totally.
also the whole concept of dads moving into this space and feeling more confident as
Yeah.
well.
I've
So
definitely seen that. Yeah.
yeah, so there's a dance and there's
Yeah.
a dance. But what we do know now is that while dads are stepping up, they're not there yet if in 2021 we're
I
doing
know.
10 times more, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Totally.
so good, but not there yet. So
Totally.
really important that women do be mindful that where could they step back?
Yeah.
What could they let go? And I know in the early days, that was not easy for me.
Oh, me
I
either. I had a
I
nurse had to tell me, midwife had to say, "Look, your husband's going to try to do this, this, and this. Shut your mouth." Not nicely. She said it very nicely. Just don't say anything and let him do it. And I'm like, that was the best advice a midwife's ever given me, because that's what we do. We just like, oh, we can do it better, or we can, we're the mothers. But yeah, it is what can you take a step back, and that normally was your role, but it's something that, you know, you let your partner do.
What's a little thing? Like, I'll give you an example. So one of the mums the other day said in one of our podcasts, asked it in one of our sessions, asked the question, "Oh, look, I read with my son every night, but when I let my husband do it, he's not blooming reading with the son. He's making
Yeah.
up stories and he's doing
Oh,
all this
yeah.
other stuff. And so he's not, so I just had to take a really deep breath and say, I get it. You're really concerned with your child's learning, and it's so awesome that you read with your son. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. But what we know from the research is that dads do it differently.
Yeah.
What they're doing is they're looking at a picture, they're telling stories, they're connecting in different ways. So your reading is one skill that your child's learning, and your husband's storytelling and imagination is
Amazing.
a
Yeah.
whole other skill.
Yeah.
And she went, "What? It's okay that he's doing that."
Yeah, it
It's
is.
more than
It's
okay.
lovely.
It's
Yeah.
a really well-rounded, child that you're gonna have, and that's what I'm talking about. It's
Yeah.
like, I
Real life
where
stuff.
can I get the good information to know that I can let go and not worry that my child's not gonna read or that
Oh, the
my child's
pressures.
not
Yeah.
gonna get the benefit. So that's the beautiful thing about, like you said, you're a tap on demand, if someone
Mm.
says something, you're like, "Hang on a sec, let's quickly,
Yeah.
quickly ask Donna, and
Yeah.
see what she says about
That's it.
that."
I've got
Right? Is it okay? Is it not okay? And that's the same thing with the
mm,
women parenting. We've
love
got
it.
our approach. We know it's stop, empathize, educate. It's all about life
Love
skills.
it.
If we've got that program in place, we know that really education for me, education for my child, education for
Yeah,
me, education for my
totally.
child. Beautiful,
Totally.
right?
And then
Let's
that relates
together.
back to my conscious parenting, because conscious parenting is all being aware. Us being conscious of, like, that lovely mum. Oh, really? Is that okay? Being aware and conscious. Yes, it's okay. And then you're like, oh, I'll let my husband do that. I might be having to walk away and bite my tongue. But it's being conscious and aware of all of these triggers, of all these stresses, the pressures we put on ourselves for our children's education, where yeah, we could go on and on and on. But thank you so much for being a guest today. It's been wonderful to get to know you, and it sounds like you're doing amazing things. So hopefully we hear lots more about win-win parenting. And I'll put everything in the show notes of how they can connect to you and bring it to their workplace.
Thank you, and really, I do my hand over heart. I went to your website. Without sleep for parents and kids, we know that that's like the biggest
Huge.
foundation for life success,
Sure
for
is.
well-being, physical, emotional, mental. So thank you for being I saw the feedback, like, as I was listening
Yeah,
through, like life-changing,
it is.
lifesaver.
I
So
love
I
it.
guess what we're saying is permission to not know,
Yeah,
parents,
yeah.
permission to reach out and get
Yeah,
the
that's right.
information you need,
Just click on
permission
win-win. Yeah.
permission to make mistakes and fix it up and
Yeah.
teach your kids that, you know what? You don't have to be perfect in life.
Oh,
You just
never.
gotta
We
do
can
the
never be
best,
perfect. No.
yeah,
And
best you can.
we just have I call my life the beautiful chaos, because it is, like, it's over years having to change parenting and where we're at now, and on the other side of it, being able to support families and bring people like yourself to people's ears, because there's so many beautiful people like yourself trying to help families. So, we're all out here trying to help everyone.
I've loved chatting.
Thank you
Thank you
so
for the
much.
opportunity.
Thank you so much, and we'll speak to you soon. Bye. So if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to leave me a rating and review. I love reading all of your messages, so shoot me a DM over on Instagram. It is parentingcollective.au. I also offer a free 15-minute no obligation phone chat. If you'd like to book one, head over to my website www.parentingcollective.com.au and request one there. So try to remember to be kind to yourself, and always know you're doing the best you can every day, no matter what your day is looking like. Until next time, much love.